podcast. The world is scary and we're locked in our home, but now we have big microphones, so you can relax. That's the name of our podcast.
Hello, welcome to
Hi.
Relax the Podcast.
We're live.
We're not, but we should try to do a live episode one day.
First ever live episode. Can you imagine?
You would have a heart attack.
I don't think so. I think it'd be fine.
Maybe I would have a heart attack. I would totally do one. We should do one.
Okay, but like, what do you mean?
Let's do a live episode.
Like on the internet?
Yeah.
Just live?
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. We'd have to, figure it out. But that might be fun.
Okay.
Guys, I'm excited for the episode today because Erik and I have not had a chance to really sit down and talk since I got back from tour. I got back yesterday from a little tour stretch, and it's been hectic. And so this is our first time alone
we haven't
in a
really
room.
chatted that whole time.
Yeah, no. And
I'm sure you have stories.
and yeah, we didn't talk much on the road. Well, I was on the road because I was so busy. It was such a hectic trip. And
You were traveling
he was
after
so
the
busy
shows too. The time difference, the children.
I have 1,000 stories for him. So this might not be a fun episode for you guys because I know you would way prefer listen to Erik speak than me. But I'm going to be talking a lot.
Well, you have real life stories. I just have
So
things
do
I
you.
wrote in the notes app on my phone that are kind of silly.
Well, let's hear your relax. What's your relax this week?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I can go 1st I think it's me. I'm running
Yeah.
into an issue as far as the statute of limitations when you forget to text someone back and then you remember to text them back. And if it's now weird or awkward to text them back.
You are talking about me.
And I don't know if everybody does this or if everybody's just texting, gets a text and then they text the person back. I don't know why.
I've never done that in my life.
I don't know why it's so hard for me. I've
never done it.
I
can tell you why.
Okay.
I know why. Can I explain why I think?
Sure.
Because I do the same thing.
Okay.
I think it's because it's a commitment to text someone back because you're opening up a conversation.
That could
And we're so busy that to text someone back yeah, sure, or cool, thanks. That doesn't end it.
No.
Because then they want to say something else.
Right.
And then you have to respond again. And it's I don't have time to respond back and forth. So then is it ruder to say something back and then they know they got you because you just looked at your phone, you just text them. So then they text you back. And then if you don't respond that time, they're like, why are they ignoring me?
So it's probably ruder then.
It's ruder I feel then to just be well, I'll do it later when I can focus and sit down and respond to this. But then I forget.
Yeah. And then time goes on and then it becomes weird. So that's what I mean by statute of limitations. So I got a text from a really good friend that I haven't spoken to in a while 4 days ago. And I was like, oh, I should respond to that.
Who was it?
Tom. But I didn't respond to it. And now it's been 4 days.
Oh, Tom won't care.
I know he won't care, but but then I also got a text a month ago from that twin mom friend I made. Did I ever tell that story here?
I don't know.
I'm terrible at this age at making new friends. And I was out walking the twins and I walked past a woman who was also walking twins. And we started walking together and talking for 40 minutes and even exchanged phone numbers. We're going to start this twin club. You know what I mean? And I came home and I told you all about it and was so excited. And then it was Christmas break or whatever. And we were oh, well, we'll meet up after the holidays. And then she did text me and I have yet to respond.
I think if all human beings on this planet, a twin mom would understand. That.
I'm sure anybody would understand. And it's most of the anxiety around this is in my head, but it seems to constantly happen.
You know what? I'm sorry to cut you. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
The thing is that not everyone understands. And maybe you haven't had this experience. Maybe you have, but I have had friends who've been I've had a couple of people who've been you're not a good friend. You're a flake. You're not a good friend because you never respond to me. And I try to explain it to them and I apologize. And it's something I don't like about myself. It's not something I strive to do is just not respond to people when they text me or message me or whatever. But I always think I'm so busy right now. I cannot respond right now, but I will respond later when I can focus. I want to give this person my undivided attention and respond appropriately to this person. And then that time never comes. There's never a time where I can sit down and really focus and respond to someone.
Right.
And then it goes out of my mind. And so I feel you, but I understand your question is how long is too long?
Well, this person could be my friend. I was all excited to make a new friend. This person could be my friend, but I think I'm I've waited too long. I can't, you know what I mean?
Respond. I think you could respond and just be hi, I was drowning in all the kids. I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I never responded. I think as long as you acknowledge it, it's fine. I would appreciate that. Maybe everyone else is different, but I would appreciate if someone finally did respond ever and was like, I'm so sorry that I totally fell off the earth. My bad. Like, but I'd love to.
Right. So, okay. So here's another one. This is like the kind of apex of this is that I had invited a friend that I hadn't seen in a while to the twins' birthday party, and they never responded. And then 2 months later, they were like, hey, sorry, I never like responded to that text. Like, yeah, we were so busy or whatever. I wish we could have come to the twins' birthday party. Like, I miss you guys. Like, I really hope you're doing well. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. And so out of nowhere, this is 2 months later that they responded. It's been 2 months, another 2 months, and I never responded to that text. And I think I'm just like resigned to like, I don't think I'm friends with that person anymore.
No, you have to think because now they probably think you're mad.
Right, because they probably think I'm mad. Yeah.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry, love. I understand the stress. I do the same thing. I didn't know you struggled with this.
It just keeps happening. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how people, I guess just do it. Because it also is like, it's exhausting to me. And you're right. It is the commitment, I think. It's the commitment.
Eric's least favorite day of the year is his birthday for this exact reason.
Yeah.
Because so many people text him.
It's like a job.
And message him happy birthday and he has to respond to all these people.
Because if you just say thank you, they're like, yeah. And this, they
how's
then
it going?
And how's it going? It's,
Yeah.
And great. And how are you? And then,
Yeah. Which there's nothing wrong with that. It's just there's never time to like.
No, I think that's having relationships with people and friends. But
maybe we're not good at that.
Like
we're in a romantic, loving relationship where it's like we don't respond to each other.
No,
each other's text messages in person. Like we don't even reply to each other. We don't even talk to each other. We're in the same room.
Now when we text, it's just like. It's literally we only respond with either thumbs up or thumbs down, like the reaction to it, and that's it.
I know.
This is fewer words have never been spoken than if our text thread was leaked, that's all it would be.
I know. Oh man. Well, I understand that. That is I have the same struggle with text messages. I am so bad at responding to people.
You're not though. You're pretty good at it.
No,
with other people too. I think
you're incorrect.
I'm just texting this person. I'm just texting this person. Yeah. You'll even do which I'm terrified of, a voice text.
You've never sent me one.
Oh my God. How do you, that's crazy to me.
I'm just realizing you've never sent me one.
It's every time I hit that thing, it goes and then it stops and I don't trust it. And then I'm hearing the sound of my own voice.
Oh, I don't listen to it back.
Not even listening to it back. While I'm talking into it,
I'm hearing your voice speaking in general.
Yeah, holding it and being because you start to talk different, right? You don't. You don't talk casually. You're like, hello! Exclamation. But you know what I mean?
What? No, wait, what? No, not in the voice memo text. I don't do talk to text. I don't do you talk on your phone and it texts for you.
No, I know what I know.
But you don't say.
It's like a recording.
I know, but you don't say when you're recording exclamation point.
I don't know how to do it. That's my point, love.
You just talk like you're talking right now.
Because it's a recording, but then it disappears?
It can, or you can save it. You can go either way.
I don't feel comfortable with that, but that seems easier.
It is and it isn't. So yes, it is easier than texting everything out. However, when people send me a really long one, I don't listen to it. It's too long. It's like a voicemail. I don't listen to my voice messages.
So your ADHD brain eventually tunes out, focuses on something else.
You want me to sit and listen for 2 full minutes to what you're saying? I don't have that kind of time.
You do.
That's not going to happen.
You do.
I won't. I cannot sit and listen for 2 minutes because this is my issue with the voice note memo thingies that you can send in text messages. You wouldn't know this because you don't use them. You cannot pause it and rewind. You have to listen to the whole freaking thing.
And then it's gone, right?
Well, you can save it so that you can listen to it again.
Save it?
Yeah.
To your phone?
Yeah.
As a file?
No, it just saves in your text messages.
Oh.
But I mean, maybe someone tell me if I'm really dumb and I'm wrong, but sometimes people will send me 4-minute voice memo things with important information, but they'll be talking for a very, 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 very long time. And then they'll get to a point and then they'll talk to and I'm I just need the information. So I'll want to I'll listen to it, but I'll have trailed off or I've walked in the other room in the middle of it. And I can't just rewind a little bit and just listen to just the part I want. You have to listen to the whole thing. That drives me bananas.
What important information are you getting in voice text messages?
I'll message with, I'll voice message with, people on my team, when I'm on tour, or I'll message with my graphic designer about my merch. And
so people use this.
Yes, and Anthony for my merch, he'll be so this is what I was thinking for this launch, and he'll be talking about the different ideas he has and answering my questions that I had in a 3-minute voice note and my brain will get distracted in the middle of it. And I'm like, oh no, I missed what he said. When are we launching this? And I can't rewind it. I have to listen to the whole thing again.
Is this an old thing? Because he's a younger gentleman, right? Like is this like a Gen Z?
I think Gen Z just FaceTimes each other. I don't know what they do.
Are we just old people complaining about technology every episode?
Yeah, I think so. But you know what? We're not going to complain right now because we're going to be grateful for our first sponsor is what we're going to do.
I'm always grateful for our sponsors.
Our first sponsor is BetterHelp today, guys. This episode of Relax is sponsored by BetterHelp. There's nothing better than when you are feeling like your best self, the best version of yourself, you know?
That would be the goal.
That is the goal always. And those moments are few and far between, but when they happen, they are magical. And you feel like you can do wonderful. You feel like you can conquer the world when you're your best self, you know, but sometimes life gets you bogged down and you feel overwhelmed, like you're not showing up in the way that you want to. And that is why working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you. And that's why we're talking about it today. A therapist can help you get there. Because when you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything life throws at you. So we've talked about therapy a lot on this show. Is this a show? Can I call it a show? Would you mind?
I think it's a podcast.
Okay, it's a podcast. Anyway, we talk about therapy all the time and the benefits of it and how wonderful it can be if you find the right therapist and, you know,
yeah,
it can be wonderful. It's helped me in so many ways. It's helped me through all different types of issues that I've had throughout my life and relationships and my personal struggles and my parenting, struggles and hardships. Therapy can be wonderful. And so I always recommend therapy to all of my family and friends, whether you're doing great or whether you're not, because I feel like it's always good. Even if you're having a great day, therapy, there's nothing wrong with therapy.
A little bit of maintenance.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So if you guys are thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. It's convenient, flexible, affordable, and entirely online. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. And if you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/relaxwithme to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/relaxwithme. Go check it out, guys. Go give online therapy a try. BetterHelp.com/relaxwithme.
Do you have a relax this week?
Oh, do I? I don't have a specific relax. It's just kind of like tour life in general, probably.
Is this just going to be everything that went wrong on tour rent?
I mean, kind of. Okay, my
the airlines.
The airlines. That's the least of my worries when it comes to tour this week. So, actually, my relax is something I talked about in my vlogs, but I'll talk about it again. I have an itch on my knee that needs to relax. I'm
talking about your vlogs.
I've had really itchy legs lately.
You have had itchy legs.
What's that about? Anyway,
lotion.
I don't use that.
You don't?
I really don't.
I never put lotion on my legs. Do people put lotion on their legs?
Yes, full on. Yeah.
I'm not a big
every day
lotion guy.
I'm not either. But okay, so here's my relax. And I think you can relate to this one. Before I dive into like my tour dramas, I got to my hotel the first night we were there, right? I fly in to Tulsa, Oklahoma, get to the hotel, and when I get out of the car, a man walks up to the car and grabs my bag. Now, this man did not look like he worked at the hotel, but I assumed he did because he grabbed my bag. But I was like, that's kind of weird. And I was like, no, I've got it.
What was his confidence level? Was he stealing your suitcase?
I didn't know because he wasn't wearing, because usually they look like the bellhop guys. They look like they work at the hotel. They're wearing the like.
Well, it's usually 2023. Like they wear like maybe a polo that says the name of the hotel. They're not wearing like the little round red hats.
No, I'm not saying that. But like they're wearing something that indicates they work for the hotel typically.
Yeah, sure.
This guy was wearing like khaki cargos and like a t-shirt and white tennies and just looked like someone's dad. Like he did not look like it. I'm not that dads can't work at hotels, but he did not look like he worked at the hotel. Okay. And he kind of meandered over to us, grabbed my suitcase and started walking. I looked at Stuart, who I was with, and I was like, what's going on here? Like, what? And then we both just kind of shrugged and I was like, oh, I guess he works here. But I went up to him because I was like, I don't need him to carry my one little tiny bag. I just had my one little bag. And I was like, oh, I got it. Thank you. because there were like stairs and whatever. And he seemed like, I just felt bad, like having like this older gentleman carry my bags when he seemed like tired and maybe a little weak. So I was like,
very judgy of you.
No, I'm telling
ageist,
you,
perhaps.
I'm not, I'm just, trust me when I say this man was like, he looked tired. He looked like,
and you didn't,
he did not look like he worked there, and he looked tired. He looked like he could not have gotten, and he did not put up a fight with that. I said, I got it to take my suitcase up the stairs, and he did not argue me on that. He let go of my suitcase and was like, go for it, girl. So I carried my suitcase up the stairs, and I let him, but I was very clear with him. I let him know, like, I've got it. Thank you. I don't need your help, but thank you so much. You know, get up to the top of the stairs. We start checking in. And while I'm checking in, he takes my bag from behind me. That's behind my tiny little carry-on bag. Mm-hmm. And my
Bays, I'm sure.
My Bays bag. And I turn around to grab something out of my bag, and it's not there. And I see he's taken my bag all the way over to the elevators, far from where we are checking in, and puts it on one of those like bellhop like trolley things, you know?
So he works there.
Of course he works there, but
this
like
confirms it.
It does. But I said, no, thank you. I'm good. And he took it without me looking, like when my back was turned, and took it over to the elevator and put it on one of those things.
He's showing initiative.
Fine. But then I finished checking in, and I turn around, and now he's gone. But my bag is now just alone sitting on that trolley thingy by the elevators.
By itself? Just the one little?
Just the one. And so I walk over to it, and I kind of look for him, and I'm like, he's not here. And I didn't want his help anyway, which I told him. And I saw him very far away on the other side of the lobby talking to someone. So I just took my bag off and I took it upstairs. Now, what needs to relax is this. I've said this, I said all this in my vlog, so I don't want to dig too deep into it, but like, I respect anyone who works for tips. Like, I will tip you. I'm a very generous tipper. Erik can attest to that.
Yeah, we're good tippers.
We're very good tippers, but I'm pretty anal about that. Am I not? I'm pretty like, I'm like, we got to tip prepared. The most and then some always. Like, I'm very like, I need to be a good tipper. Like, it's very important to me. And so it's not about that.
I wonder what that's about.
Well, it's about because I worked in the service industry and I experienced me and a lot of my friends not getting tipped after working really hard.
Same. That's the exact same reason.
So anyway, it's not about that. What bothered me about the situation is that I told him I didn't want him to take my bag. And then he took it without me looking and touched my stuff and took it away from me far away and then left it unsupervised. And that very much annoyed me. But what needs to relax is those guys, when they take your bags, which I appreciate. And there's been so many times in the past where I've needed them to take my bags and take it up. And I'm so grateful for them. But there are times where I'm like, I don't want you to take up my bag because you take longer than me. And then I have to sit in my room without all my stuff. And I'm like waiting for my stuff to come. And then you come in and then it's like an awkward exchange. And you know what I mean? Like, and in that moment I was tired. I've been traveling all day. I just wanted to take my bags myself. It grinded my gears a little bit, Lovey. But after I said multiple times, hey, don't take my bag. I'm good. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. He still took it when my back was to him. And he didn't even ask. After I'd said, no, thank you.
It sounds a bit sneaky, yeah. I mean,
Sneaky Pete.
Yeah, it didn't seem like you consented in that situation.
I did not consent in taking my personal items.
Yeah, there's a certain eagerness to specific tipping scenarios where it's obviously established in like in the bylines of that industry, like in the bathroom per se, if there's a bathroom attendant or bellhops when they insist on taking your bags when you really don't want them or need them to, and then they walk up to the room, put it in there, and they're like, yeah, and this is the refrigerator, and this is a window, and here's a door and towels, and okay, and then they just stand there. You know what I mean? It's I want to tip based on effort and like,
well, that doesn't,
but like, there's something about the expectation that makes me more. I still do it, but like reluctant. And like when you have to valet somewhere, like when we went to Disneyland and we had no choice but to valet at the specific place, and they're all like running, they're moving the same speed I am, but they're acting like they're really hustling. And then I don't know. When there's more of an expectation of it.
I will say too that.
Does that make sense?
Yes, the frustration with I like I said, I am all about tipping and tipping generously, even when I get bad service. But
yeah, even still.
I am not upset about the tipping situation and all of that with the people who need the tips. It's a system. They're not paying people enough.
Yeah, they should be paid more.
It's craziness. Yeah. These people should be paid a living wage so they don't have to like essentially beg for tips because that's
it's not like this in other countries where they pay a living wage for
in
these
fact, when I
kinds
go to
of-
other countries, like they're like, they can't believe the tipping system here. They're like, wait, you tip the person who cuts your hair? You tip the person who gives you your coffee? Like they think that's crazy. When here it's like, well, of course you do. Like, of course you tip these people.
And again, like it's not even, it's established protocol. It's not even like, oh, this was a really great haircut. Because I got a haircut a month ago and she rang me up on a register. And then she goes, okay, now this iPad's going to ask you a couple of questions. Like I'd already paid for the haircut with a cash register and a thing. And then she directed me to a separate iPad, an entire separate transaction for a tip. And they just say like, this is going to ask you a couple questions. And then like, it's.
Yeah. I'm sure it's so uncomfortable for them.
I'm sure it's so uncomfortable for them.
Yeah.
Yes, they should be paid a living wage for all these amazing jobs that they do, but they shouldn't take your bag unless you really wanted them to.
Well, and that's the thing. Take my bag. Like that's your job. They are told to get their bags. Don't.
Yeah, he probably has a manager that's
sure.
like, why don't you not have her bag?
Of course.
Yeah.
But what bothered me is that I had said, but with my very non-confrontational little stressed out brain and heart, I said out loud with my words, and I was very proud of myself. No, thank you. I've got it. No, thank you. I don't need your help. I've got it, which I usually would just stay quiet in those situations. And I was like, I so desperately didn't want him to come. I was so tired. I just wanted to take my stuff up to my room,
Yeah.
And so that's what bothered me. It wasn't the fact that he was doing his job. It was the fact that he kept trying to take it from me after I said, please do not. And then he took it when my back was to him. It seemed so sneaky peeky. And it was I don't know, that just really bothered me. But I know that if I were in the service industry and I was relying on tips to make like a living wage,
I'd be so uncomfortable.
I cannot imagine being like, and here's this iPad. You can answer if you want the questions about tipping.
Back when I worked for tips, there wasn't that. There was just like the tip line on the receipt. There wasn't a whole,
right.
iPads didn't exist at that point.
Right. But anyway, that was Who Needs to Relax. But I can get into my tour stories, my tour disaster stories from this weekend. I had a disaster weekend, but also very fun. But first, let's say thanks to our next sponsor, shall we? It's, of course, Indeed. Think about someone who has changed your life for the better. How incredible would it be if your company could find more of those life-changing people right when you needed them? If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills when you can do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. Hate waiting? Indeed's U.S. data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. Something pretty nifty about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy because of things like, Instant Match, one of their wonderful features. So that's pretty exciting. Candidates you invite to apply through Instant Match are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in a search, according to the U.S. Indeed data. With Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor a post, you get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description, and you can invite them to apply right away. Indeed does the hard work for you. Sponsor a job, and boom, Instant Match shows you candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description immediately after you post. With Instant Match, you can start hiring fast. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Indeed knows when you're growing your own business, you have to make every dollar count. That's why with Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Visit Indeed.com/relax to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/relax. Indeed.com/relax. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Okay, so I can talk about tour stuff, but Erik did just say that he had a game that we could play.
We'll play it after.
No, I want to play the game. We need a fun game. Let's do a fun game.
I wanted to hear all about your tour stuff. You refuse to tell me for some reason.
No, I don't. I will tell you, but I just feel like people would enjoy hearing a game more than they would enjoy hearing
It's not even a prepared game. It's not even good.
What is it?
There is a show on HBO called The Last of Us.
Okay.
It was originally a video game that I put on the other day, and then I don't think you looked up and watched. It was like the zombie one.
Yeah, I know what it is because like people are talking about it and you've talked about it, but I don't like that kind of show, so I wasn't very interested in watching.
It's HBO. It's like a big new show, and people are like, "Oh, have you seen the show?"
Yeah.
So it's like people are talking about it,
right?
And it's kind of about a zombie-ish apocalypse, and I wondered how you would fare in a zombie apocalypse.
I die immediately.
You think so?
Immediately.
Well, I looked up. I found a reputable website that was like, "This is how you survive."
You think I wouldn't die immediately in this scenario?
No.
Are you? Come on. I would. Anyway, what's the game?
You're Mama Bear. You got these kids to protect. You're
that's true.
Able-bodied. You're
that's
mentally
why I would die
sound.
immediately. I would do anything to make sure my kids were okay. So I would probably die trying to keep. Anyway, what is the game?
Number one, it says you need to know survival skills. So what would be your asset as a survival skill in a zombie apocalypse? People pleasing, and social awkwardness.
No, just people pleasing. I would just like try to like make everyone like really like me. So even when they were zombies, they wouldn't want to hurt me because they'd be like, well, she was nice.
She's all right.
She's nice. And even to the zombies, I'd be like, no, like seriously, I'll help you find blood. Like, I'll help you. I would just be like, really?
But their brains have been taken over by like a mushroom fungus. So they're not really the same people anymore. They're kind of, I don't know, inanimate, but animate.
You know what? I also feel like my other like secret weapon would be the fact that like my blood is rotten because I only eat like fast food.
Right.
So like they'd be like, she's not going to taste good. I would be like, if you guys want some of me, like I'll give you a little taste test.
Yeah.
And I'd like cut a little part of me somewhere and I'd be like, taste this.
Also, the zombies in this show, they can't see, but they can hear.
I'm real loud. I'd be screwed. I'd be screwed.
Yeah.
What would your what was the question?
Like survival skill.
What would your survival skill be?
I think I was always really good. I was strangely good at like capture the flag and hide and seek as a kid. Mm-hmm. Do I strike you as someone who would be really good at that?
I don't really know what that is.
You don't really capture the flag, or
I thought that was a football thing.
There was also a game called like Manhunt that we would play like in the neighborhood. No, it's not. It's like a camp game. It's like you're divided into teams and you have a flag and a base.
Isn't there a football game that you have a flag on your waist?
Flag football?
That's not capture the flag?
It's not. No, this is a different thing.
Okay.
But we've gone over my extensive experience in Boy Scouts. I think I have lots of survival.
You do, yeah.
And camping, I feel like I could do lots of things. I will say the third episode of the show is kind of like a standalone episode, and it's one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen.
Wow.
It's really, really great. I think I'm
not going to watch it.
Okay. Survival kit. What would be in your survival kit?
Cookies. Because I'm going to die. Like, I might as well like have things I like, you know?
Like cookie dough or like full cookies?
Full cookies. I'm not going to have an oven, I don't think.
So you're packing a survival kit for our family and you're packing...
In this world, love, that you're talking about, I'm talking like in my mind, I'm not thinking my kids are there. Okay.
In
my mind, I'm thinking it's me alone. Because if my kids are there, you're making it too real. And then I have to like actually legit think about this. Do you want me? I can do that too. Do you want me to do that? Like our kids are there. I'm trying to keep our kids alive because that's a different ballgame.
It's too intense.
Because then it's like kind of knife, like matches, lighters, like canned foods. Like, I mean,
you're right. Yeah.
You know, but if we're talking just me by myself,
just you by yourself,
cookies.
I think is more fun. Yeah, of course.
I don't know, cookies. And I probably have, a survival kit in this specific scenario or just in general? A survival kit in general or in this specific scenario?
In the zombie apocalypse scenario that we've established.
So like you have to be quiet in order for them to not find you type of vibe. So then I'd want like foods that like don't have wrappers, you know, because that's loud.
That's good.
And then I'd want things that like, because I have like really intense, like weird things about, like I think about when I travel, something I always have to have when I travel is like dental floss. Cause like what if you're on the road and you get like something stuck in your teeth? I'll rage if I can get that thing out of my teeth. So I need dental floss there because like that would be something that would cause me.
Maybe you would die immediately.
I would, because that would be something that would cause me to like make a ruckus.
Floss and cookies.
I'd be like, I wouldn't be able to sit still. If there's something stuck in my teeth, I make noise and the zombie would come kill me.
Where would you hide out? According to this website, the number one place to hide out in a zombie apocalypse would be a prison.
I wouldn't even know how to get to a prison.
I don't know.
I was
then you'd
thinking
have to
like
get in.
I was thinking like in this
because
room.
it'd be hard for the zombie.
I was thinking like where would I hide
like
in
behind
this
this
room?
chair? No,
but I was thinking like if right now, snap my fingers, I'm in a zombie apocalypse. Like I'm not going outside.
I think maybe you would want to like go into the mountains.
I feel like
you'd want to be away from the population because then there'd be less zombies.
Yeah, but then there's less people to help you.
Yeah. Well, another category was like establish your gang. You know. Mm-hmm. These would be the people you would be pleasing, I guess.
Yeah, my people pleasing skills.
They would come into play there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you be the leader of this gang?
I think I would want to be
because you're a control freak.
Yeah, but not in a situation like that. I would want to like really. I wouldn't be the leader. I'd want to like delegate what everyone's doing. Do you know what I mean? So
do you know that's the definition of a leader?
No, because I'd want to figure out
like to tell everybody what they're doing.
I'd want to figure out who's the best person to be the leader because I know it wouldn't be me. So I'd want to like figure out what everyone's skills are and what everyone should be doing and like figure out who, because I know I wouldn't be the best leader.
And then you would put the leader in charge and tell everybody else what they should be doing.
No, then I would just do my thing, which would be people pleasing and making cookies. But I honestly don't think I would find anyone to be with because I would just be like, I'm going to die. You know what I mean? Like I saw a TikTok. Sorry to start a sentence like that. I know you hate that because you're like a boomer.
I don't hate that. It's just.
But I did see a TikTok where this girl was like, what? And she was talking about shows like this. And she's just like, I don't understand the concept of these because like, what are you fighting for? Like, why do you want to stay alive in this scenario?
Survival.
But why? To survive what? To more zombies eating you?
To just keep going?
To survive what? If the world is exploding, everything's like just garbage.
The basic premise established in the pilot episode of this particular show is that there's a girl who appears to maybe have a natural immunity. And so they want to figure out, because no one's ever been immune to one.
So they like bite her and nothing happens?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And so now it's become the mission of one man to keep her alive and get her to wherever she needs to get to while avoiding, a world in disarray and zombies and,
Well,
chaos,
I liked what that girl said because I was like, that's so true. Like if the world is just falling apart and everyone's just eating each other and dying and just like there's nothing really to live for, then like why not just be like, okay, then why am I?
Let's all stay home and make a sourdough starter and make bread.
In this freaking scenario, you've got these people terrified and hiding and scared and living in stress and with nothing. And then you've got these zombies that are like kind of can do whatever they want, living their best life, like chilling, roaming about, taking over everything. Just eating
they're not
people.
like sentient beings.
Wouldn't you rather be that?
No, because they're not sentient beings. They're not like they're not in control of their thoughts or impulses. They're literally taken over by a parasite that just wants to spread.
Sounds like a pregnant person.
According to this website, also don't get rid of your phone, even if there's no like internet or whatever, because apparently satellites for GPS will
never
work.
get rid of my phone. That was who would get rid of their phone?
You won't be able to watch TikToks.
In what world?
Or I know you love Twitter. You won't be able to tweet.
I have a phone that doesn't work that I carry with me everywhere I go.
What happens on that one?
I don't know.
You just have it. Well, satellites will still work.
I've kept every phone I have ever had. I have every single phone. That is not an option to have a phone.
And be a good scavenger, apparently, is another thing that's really important. Like,
eating whatever you find?
No, that scavenger would be like finding supplies that you wouldn't think you'd necessarily need, but like making use of them.
Okay, I would be so good at that.
Not a scavenger hunt.
Wait,
but a real scavenger hunt.
I changed my mind. My people pleasing skills are obviously that was a joke, and that would not help me in any way.
Your craft skills,
right? Girl, I thought first of all, when you hear of like a scavenger bird. You know what I mean? Like that's where I feel like I've heard scavenger hunt and like a scavenger bird or scavenger animals, like someone who just like eats anything, like like a seagull is like a scavenger. I've always heard.
In that sense, you are a scavenger. Yes.
No, I'm not. Like, cause I was gonna say if that was the word, if that's the term. Like, I'm not gonna eat anything unless it's like cookies or In-N-Out. So like, I literally would die. But if what you mean by scavenger is like finding the tools around you to like make stuff out of it.
We found this old rusty thing. Maybe we can use that to turn that into a solar panel.
I could make
Solar panels.
No, like cute outfits out of leaves. I'm sure.
You are really good at flower crowns.
But also like literally this is a skill of mine and something I will talk about if we ever talk about my tour, that like making props out of the most random things.
Yeah.
For my show. Like half the props in my show are made from objects you would never have a thought. You would have been like, oh, she just bought some poster board and made that. Like, or had some, no. You would never believe the things that my props are made of because I am, as Erik describes it, a scavenger.
Well, I'll tell you what, Colleen, you could be in my zombie apocalypse gang.
Because they'd eat me first.
No, I think you'd be a good partner in that.
You'd be really good. I'd want you in mine because you'd keep me alive maybe a day longer than I would if I were alone. I think.
Like a day, sure.
Yeah, I think after that, I think a day is way longer than I should last in a zombie apocalypse. Well, I know for sure I would die immediately. But I do think I don't think I would die just because I gave up. I don't think I would give up, honestly. As much as I joke about that, like, why would you want to stay alive? Like, I think I would fight really hard and be a really good team player, like trying to get everyone involved and like stay alive. But I think that my eagerness and my delusions would make me die immediately.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
I would hope for the best. But
good thing zombies aren't real.
I think you have a lot of skills. Yeah, I guess they're not, except for like the premise of this show is based on an actual parasite that does this to like ants and deer. And it's like, well, what if it could do this in humans, which scientifically has been kind of debunked, but like.
Well, pregnancy is kind of like having a parasite.
Yeah. And then they come out and they totally act like little zombies.
The babies?
Yeah.
All right. We need to say thanks to our next sponsor.
Why not?
Which you guys so excited about this one, obviously, because why wouldn't we be excited about Helix? We are excited about Helix because we love sleep. Right, Lovey?
Sleep on mattresses? Quality mattresses? Yes.
Of course. Just the absolute best. Guys, as you're going to find out in a couple minutes, probably, if I ever talk about my tour stuff, I have not slept a lot recently. Let me tell you, when I finally got to lay down flat on my Helix mattress at our home, it was a glorious moment. We don't get to sleep very often. So the moments we do get to lay down, it needs to be just the best moment ever. And Helix helps that to happen. So we love sleep in our house, even though we don't get it. And that is why, one of the many reasons why we wanted to switch mattresses. And we got partnered up with Helix when we started this podcast, and they sent us one, and wow, our sleep has improved. The little sleep that we get. Yeah,
because you got to get in there and get it done. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah. And
so, Erik and I both love this wonderful mattress, but so do our kids, our pets, our cats are always trying to sleep on it. And it's absolutely fabulous. It's a premium mattress brand. Helix is a premium mattress brand that provides tailored mattresses based on your unique sleep preferences. The Helix lineup includes 14 unique mattresses, including a collection of luxury models, a mattress for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. So, how will you know which Helix mattress works best for you and your body? You just take this little Helix sleep quiz and you find your perfect mattress in under 2 minutes. And your personalized mattress is shipped straight to your door free of charge. Helix knows there's no better way to test out a new mattress than by sleeping on it in your own house. And that's why they offer a 100-night trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new Helix mattress. Everybody's unique and everyone sleeps differently. And that is why Helix has several different mattress models to choose from. Each one is designed for specific sleep positions and feel preferences. Models with memory foam, layers to provide optimal pressure relief if you sleep on your side, which we do.
Yeah, we took the sleep quiz and we were kind of matched with like the side sleeper mattress. Midnight Lux is what they sent us. You know what I've been doing lately?
What?
Taking little snoozes on my stomach.
Whoa.
Is that weird?
That's real cute. I like that. That's how Wesley sleeps. It's so cute.
Tummy sleepers.
Yeah. They also have models with more responsive foam to cradle your body for essential support in stomach and back sleeping
Maybe
positions.
that's
Maybe
what
we
it
need a
is.
new one. We need a new model that helps you with your tummy sleeping. Plus, enhanced cooling features to keep you from overheating at night, which is great for me because I do that a lot. And if your spine needs some extra TLC, they got you. Every Helix mattress has hybrid designs, combining individually wrapped steel coils in the base with premium foam layers on top. It's the perfect combination of comfort and support. So listen, guys, not only is this mattress the best we've ever slept on, but the setup's really fast and easy. Helix mattresses are delivered in a box straight to your door for free. Plus, Helix mattresses are American made and come with a 10 to 15 year warranty, depending on the model. Don't want to take our word for it? Helix has been awarded the #1 mattress picked by GQ and Wired magazine. It is even recommended by multiple leading chiropractors and doctors of sleep medicine as a go-to solution for improving your sleep. Helix is offering up to 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners.
Whoa.
Go to helixsleep.com/relax. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long. So go check it out. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Okay, love, you want to know some tour stories?
I would love
finally?
to. Yeah, tell me everything.
I actually wrote things down because, so this is the thing. Eric and I would talk late at night, like middle of the night, when I finally got to my hotels. And I'd be like, there's so much to say. I'm too tired.
Yeah.
So I haven't told him like anything from tour, but
It's more about like FaceTiming with you so you can say hi to the kids.
yeah. So
now's our time.
So I won't say everything, but if you watch my vlogs, you'll know that the first day in Tulsa, Oklahoma, it started off wonky because it's a long story, but I thought I was being kidnapped. I got into the wrong car.
Yeah.
But
you did tell me that story.
Yeah. So you guys can go watch my vlog if you want to hear more about that. But it was like, I was very scared. I thought, so the day started off real wonky. And then I get to the venue and find out that we're missing a bunch of props for the show. So I have a very prop heavy show. I love a prop. And
props are great.
You know why I love props, right?
I don't know.
Because of, because
Carrot
they're
Top?
great. No, Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Yes. He's once said something along the lines of like, when you're holding a prop, you have everyone's attention.
Yeah.
Because they're like, what is that person going to do with that thing?
Yeah. Back when he was doing like his kind of one-man show, he had tons of props.
And so that's that inspired me to have lots of props. But then also back when I first started doing a lot of live shows, I was seeing a lot of drag shows, and drag queens are incredibly talented performers, and they use a lot of props and a lot of, it's also, I have a lot of medleys in my shows. Of a bunch of different quick little clips from a bunch of different songs, because that's
that
very much in lots of drag shows.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. But I do have lots of props in my show. And I also think it is funny, what would Miranda think is a prop, you know? So like if I need a wrecking ball to sing Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball,
like
what would that be for Miranda? And it would be a beach ball wrapped in duct tape.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's very fun for me to come up with these different
I've
props.
blown that thing up many times backstage before your show.
I think she's retired. I think I'm switching that out the next show. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I'll never tell a story. I'll never tell a single story from this tour. I get so distracted in my brain. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, we're missing props. And the props we were missing were a Billie Eilish costume.
Okay.
And wig.
It just wasn't there.
It wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
And we were missing a bodybuilder costume from the Encanto movie. There's a character who's very strong.
I forget the name of her.
I did too. I feel like it's Luis or something like that.
Sure.
I don't know. Anyway, I made a muscle man costume with her dress on, and that was missing.
You made that?
Mm-hmm. And then, the dress was one costume, and then there was a muscle man costume. I sewed them together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you were saying you made that this weekend. You're saying you lost
it was missing.
That you made. Got it.
We were missing the Miley Cyrus leotard that I wear. We were missing, I can't remember them all, but we were missing like a significant amount.
Sounds like it.
Of costumes and props. And so when I find out this is my best environment, when there's a crisis,
you thrive.
I'm not the type, like I get very stressed. I get very, very anxious in general in life. But in those scenarios where there's something like that, where it's like, hey, you have 5 hours till show and you're missing half your props, is when I go, okay, how are we going to fix it? Like, let's fix it.
Give me a toothpick, some dental floss.
Right.
I'm going to make this from scratch again.
That was my first issue. So I first think I'm getting kidnapped. Then I get to the theater and find out all my props are missing. So I'm like, okay, not only that, but I also had added new things to the show. I changed Defying Gravity, added new props to that. And, changed lyrics to songs and changed a bunch of stuff. So I was already pretty nervous about the new stuff I was adding. And now I'm missing a bunch of props. So I needed to figure out how to quickly make new props, which was very stressful. I mean, I can get into that story, but there's so many things on my list.
Go for it. Yeah.
Basically, I knew I wouldn't find a muscle costume like the Encanto girl.
They don't have those at like CVS.
So I was like, I got to cut that. I'm not going to be able to make that.
So you just cut it from the show?
I cut that part. I was like, leotard, there's got to be some sort of leotard somewhere that my assistant can go find, you know? What else? Billie Eilish. Okay, look for a neon green, because the one I have is an actual Billie Eilish costume. Like it's a Halloween costume of Billie Eilish. So I was like, it's neon green.
She doesn't dress like that anymore.
No, she
right?
doesn't. But it's just like when you think of Billie Eilish, like, you know, when I wear that, people know that's who I am supposed to be. So, and that's the goal with the Miranda costumes. When I transform into like a celebrity, it's like you have to use like the most iconic kind of look, you know? Of
course.
So, anyway, I was like, find neon green clothes, you know, and stuff like that. Anyway, so he came back with a bag full of random stuff, and I had to figure out how to make props and costumes with what I had. He found a medium and a large child's neon green shirt that I cut up and hot glued together to look the shape of like an adult size Billie Eilish costume. And then we used Sharpie and drew all over it to kind of resemble the Billie Eilish costume. And then I knew he'd be able to find overalls and a pink shirt at like a Target. So I did, instead of the Encanto part, I put in Miss Rachel and I sang Icky Sticky Bubblegum. And like,
well,
so
that's
very
like
funny
stuff
to
like
that.
me.
So like I just switched out stuff and whatever. So, but the day was full of all of us were just on the ground making props. Hot glue is everywhere, you know? Anyway, the day
sounds like your best environment.
Stressed.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I don't know. So then I get out on stage, Lovey, and the audience was great. The audiences were all wonderful, but it was just odd. You know, typically when I perform, there's places, you know, they're gonna laugh. You're looking at me strange. Is there something on my face?
I'm listening.
Okay. So you were looking at me like this. I was like, oh. So I thought like I had like an eyelash or a booger. Who knows? Anyway.
You don't.
You know how at my shows, you know, oh, they laugh at this part. This is a punchline and then they laugh, or this is a moment where they laugh. So if they
don't, you as a performer get in your head about it?
I never assume it's the audience's fault. I always assume like, oh, I performed that incorrectly or something.
Yeah.
But in Tulsa, it was so interesting because they were laughing in different places, which didn't make me think I'm performing terribly or the audience is bad. It made me think, oh, this group of people in this audience that find different things funny than my typical audience, because they were laughing at things that typically people don't laugh at, but not laughing at things where people do laugh. And one of those locations of the show was the very beginning. So the lights go out and the video starts to play, like to introduce me. And usually when that happens, the audience is like loud and excited and screaming and cheering. And they didn't.
Show's
they were
about to
quiet. They
start.
were like, oh, show's about to start. We need to be quiet and respectful.
Pay attention to this.
And so the show started off silent. And I was like, uh-oh. What's happening? Is there anyone here? Did no one come? And then I get on stage and I see people and they're very excited and wonderful. But then there's a part where I don't want to reveal anything, but somehow, some way, I end up, my underwear shows for a second as Miranda. This is part of the show. This happens.
Yeah.
And usually when that happens, as Miranda, I'm mortified and like, oh no, but the audience laughs very hard at this, that my underwear is showing. They did not. Like I felt like, and maybe I just wasn't hearing correctly.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to hear from stage.
But it felt like they were kind of like, oh. And I don't know if they thought like I don't know what. I don't know. Maybe they're just like, that's not our type of humor, girl. But like me struggling to get pants back on like it felt like I was doing it in silence.
Oh, that's so funny.
So I'm in my head. I'm like, oh no, this audience is
right
not interested in this show. Like I'm so nervous. So it starts off the show wonky. I'm like, I have all these new props. I have these new bits in the show. I almost got kidnapped today. And now my audience hates me. They didn't, of course. They were very wonderful and supportive, but it was just, that's what was in my head. So then at the beginning of the show, I like doing audience participation. And there's a part in the show where I immediately pull someone up onto the stage, a man. I always remember at the beginning of the show.
Of course, yeah.
And so I call on this man. I'm kind of like, chatting with him. And then I tell him to come on stage and he's like, no.
Yeah.
And sometimes they fight it. Sometimes they fight it.
Yeah, but you always kind of can get them up there.
But yeah, they always eventually come up. And this man was like, no.
I understand the
an
reluctance.
Absolutely no.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. Yeah, I don't blame him at all. Like, I think if you don't want to come on stage, you should not come on stage.
I've seen comedy shows where they've done what's called crowd work. You know what I mean? Where they go in and they, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? And I get terrified every time
that they're going to call me.
They're going to call me. And then it happened once and I had a full like panic meltdown. Like I couldn't remember where I was from. It's like, I want to be, and that's just you still stay in your chair. So for the performer or comedian to be like, you're coming on stage, like I totally get it. I'd be like, nope, no thanks.
Same. So I totally
but usually
understand.
People comply.
Of course.
Yeah.
I wasn't upset with him. I was annoyed with myself because I feel like there's a strategy to me picking on someone.
Right. Yeah.
And I usually try to find someone that I know is not a big fan, because I don't want them to be like super great for this first person I pull up onto the stage.
Yeah, that's part of the joke.
It's part of the joke is they're not like super stoked to be there, but they're having fun is what I'm looking for. So I look in the audience at someone who's kind of laughing and smiling and enjoying themselves, but not ecstatic.
Yeah.
You know, and this guy was like jolly and lovely. And he was interacting with me in his chair, but he was like, no. And he would absolutely not come up.
So that kind of brought it to a screeching halt,
which is
I imagine.
fine.
Yeah.
But the issue is not with me being worried about him not coming up. Of course, I don't want him to come up if he doesn't want to be up there. I would never do that to him.
Right.
But it was more that like, then I felt like the audience was like, uh-oh. And like they were uncomfortable that like I made someone uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean?
Well, now you also have
head.
to get someone else up there because
so I had to do that.
Yeah,
so
because
I had
you can't
to call
just
someone else.
Skip the part of the show.
So I was like,
it's
okay,
like
dude behind him, you come up. You know, like it was like, but that ended up giving me a great joke because and it wasn't even my joke. The guy said it because he came up and he had to do like an apology video, and in it he made me laugh, like genuinely made me laugh because he was like saying his apology to the audience for not being a good enough audience member. And the other guy was supposed to come up, but he didn't. And so in his apology, he goes, it wasn't me, it was him. And like, it made me laugh so because I'd forgotten about that at that point. And it made the audience laugh. So it was very funny. It was very funny. So he was great and saved me there. But anyway, then I wrote down so many things. Some of these I don't even remember. The Twitter... TikTok. In the TikTok, I do a TikTok section of the show.
Medley.
I added some new stuff. They weren't having it. They were not having the new stuff. And that was my bad. I was like, these were not good choices to put in this. So the new stuff I added in, they were not laughing at.
I think that's an interesting like part of your show to talk about because it's so the shelf life of like a TikTok trend seems so much shorter than any other kind of like pop culture trend that you could do. So so you having this TikTok medley in your show,
I change it for every show.
You have to change it for every show because like something, nobody wants to hear
the corn song.
Kid. Yeah, exactly.
But there's some things that like that trended 2 years ago that they still scream at every time.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's like, it's a hard thing to figure out. But the thing is most comedians, when they have new material, they go to small comedy clubs and bars and try out their new stuff to see what works and what doesn't before they take it on tour. Right. And for me, I can't do that because I'm not a comedian. I'm like I have a very specific audience who likes my stuff. And those are the people who buy tickets to my shows. And so I can't go take this to a bar and see what they laugh at because people who would laugh in a comedy club would laugh at different jokes than my fans. It's almost like my fans we have inside jokes with each other, you know?
Well, yeah, because you're so communicative with them. It is a whole different thing, but it's also not. Like, I think you totally could show up to the Laugh Factory to a bunch of people who've never heard of you. I think you could make them laugh.
The point is that I can't try out new material at a bar. I try out new material.
You used to be able to, right? Though, like when you first started.
No, I've never done that.
When you first started as Miranda, you weren't like trying out new things for.
Yeah, I was, but it was always in front of my audience.
How did the audience exist before the character existed? Because it was online. Because it was online, so it was always people who had found you online and they came to the show, or were you?
Yeah, there were sometimes people at the venues that like at the bars and stuff who never knew who I was. But I'm saying like the audience size of my audiences was the same size as those bars. So like my point right now is that like back then, yes, I would go to a random bar where they didn't know me and I'd perform something. And then I would perform for one of my shows, one of my audiences, which was the same amount of people, 100 people-ish in the crowd. Whereas now I could go to a comedy club or a bar and there's 100 people there. I can't do that to try out my stuff. So I do it in front of 1,000+ people.
Right. Okay.
For the first time. Like I don't try out material. I just do it. Whereas most comedians try out material before they do it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's still working it out in its own way.
Well, the stuff I added didn't work, I thought. And so then
now you know.
I had edited, JoJo Siwa was in my show in the last show I'd done in Thousand Oaks. And because of that, I had put in a different...
She was physically in your show, yeah.
She had, she was in this big medley I do. And so I took out this big ending that I do with this big skirt in this medley I do at the end of the show, because I was doing it with JoJo and I didn't want to do that skirt moment with JoJo, but I still wanted it in the show. So I put it in the TikTok medley in Thousand Oaks. Okay. This big skirt moment.
Did you forget to switch it back?
Well, that's the thing, is that I did switch it back. So I switched the JoJo song out and I put the regular song there with the big skirt ending. It's like later in the show,
no.
but I didn't take it out of the TikTok medley, but I thought that I did because I'd edited in new things into the TikTok medley.
Yeah.
But somehow that ending like was still spliced in.
So you had to do it twice?
No, that's what was so dumb of me, is that like the song ends, a TikTok song ends, and then I hear that ending, the other ending with like the big skirt that's supposed to be later in the show, but it starts just playing because like that clip had somehow snuck its way into the edit that I had done.
Oh no.
And so then Corey and Stu are running on stage with the skirt frantically like, oh, are we supposed to do this now?
Yeah.
And they run on stage and I was like, no. Cause I was like, I can't do this twice. There's no way to make that funny. Like that I would do this. I mean, I guess it would be funny, but in that moment I was just panicked and I was just like, no, get off stage. No, not now. Go away. They ruined it. They ruined my ending of my TikTok. No. Like it was just like so bad. It was just so bad. It was so bad. And then they ran off stage and the audience was so confused. So it's like, literally, I have stuff in every number that went wrong. Like everything went wrong. So my show has like a flow to it. Like everything kind of flows into itself, like into each other, whatever. And because the TikTok song had like ended so terribly, I tried to sew it into the next part of the show, which is like, I was going to read hate comments. And I was like, oh no, since I messed it up, I bet I got a bunch of hate comments. So I used a different approach going into, I was like, let me check and see if I got hate comments because they messed up the end of that song. And then I read hate comments, but it messed up the flow of like the concept of the show because I changed why I was looking at hate comments. Anyway, none of this probably even makes any sense because you have to have seen the show to know what I'm talking about. But
well, they got to buy.
Everything was messed up.
They can buy tickets. Where do you go next?
Oh my
When's
God.
your next show?
So hold on. I will get to the next part because the next part is where the big drama happened. These are all just small, stupid, insignificant things that were stressing me out, but the audience probably didn't even notice. But before I get to the big wham bam problems, I'm going to say thanks to our final sponsor because I'm talking way too much. So we'll talk about this and we'll talk about our final sponsor, and then I'll finish up with the big drama that happened in my show.
There's
okay.
more? There's even
Well, I didn't
bigger?
even get to the bad stuff.
Oh my gosh, that was good stuff?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so our final sponsor today is DraftKings.
Lovey, you know DraftKings, right?
Of course.
I mean, are you ready for the biggest Sunday in sports?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes, it's the Super Bowl Rihanna concert.
Is that is that how it's being built? Who's playing in the Super Bowl?
Men.
What two teams?
Well, everyone knows who's playing.
Yeah, what two teams are
because
playing
we
in the
know
Super Bowl?
now, right? It's official. The final games have happened.
Yeah, it's
the finals
established
happened.
who is in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, of course.
It's
the Redbirds.
Close. It's the Philadelphia
Redfins.
And the Kansas City
Seahawks.
That's right, Lovey. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 57, has all the Super Bowl action you need. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all customers can get in on the Super Bowl 57 excitement with DraftKings Happy Hour Super Boosts. Check the DraftKings Sportsbook app every day between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Update for PST to see what prop bet will be boosted. You know who I'm picking for the Super Bowl?
The Cardinals.
The Kansas City
Seahawks, isn't it?
Starts with a C.
Care Bears. What is it?
CH.
I-E. Chiefs.
And the Philadelphia
Dolphins.
It's a bird.
Cardinals.
Starts with an E.
Eagles.
Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to win.
Okay.
I don't know, but I know you should download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Colleen.
Because I love sports.
Because she loves sports so much. New customers can bet $5 on Super Bowl 57 and get $200 in free bets instantly only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code Colleen. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code Colleen. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Guys, who are you going to pick for the Super Bowl?
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
Okay. I know I'm just like talking way too much about this.
I love it. I want to know the big drama now.
These are the things I would talk about on the phone with Erik for like hours on tour. But that's as I'm doing it on the podcast, I'm like, I don't know that anyone would be interested in any of this. But there's a bunch of stuff that started happening. But the big main drama was that like literally every single number had something wrong. Something went wrong. And every number, every bit, everything, something
Could that
did
be
not go
fun
out.
for the audience? Sometimes it's fun when people laugh
fun.
or break character.
Sure, maybe. But it wasn't I was breaking character. It was things that they would never know the difference. It was stuff that was technical for me. Like I knew I had a punchline where something would pop up on the screen and then it wasn't there. So like the audience, it's not funny to them because they didn't know something was supposed to pop up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like that. It was like everything that I'm used to going perfectly in the show, nothing happened how it was supposed to. So anyway, we get to the part of the show where I play a game with a couple. I bring up a couple on stage and I play a game with them. And immediately the screen starts flickering behind me, like turning off, turning on, turning off, turning on.
See, that's distracting.
Turning blue, turning on,
how do you
turning
handle
off.
that? Yeah.
So at first I was like, ignore it. It'll just come back on. But then it just would not stop. Like it was just, and it's a huge screen, you know?
Yeah.
And
it's directly behind you.
Obviously distracting. Like I have to address it.
Yeah.
So then I said something so stupid and I didn't mean to, but the couple's holding like foam fingers, right? And it's for part of the game. And they were kind of poking each other with the fingers, poking each other's fingers with their own fingers, the foam fingers, kind of flirting, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys, every time you're doing that finger thing with each other, it's making the screen flicker. Stop it. Look at what you're doing. You're messing up my screen or something like that. And people are like, oh, she addressed it. Okay. It wasn't like an actual laugh. It was like, oh, she addressed the fact their screen's messed up. But then the screen kept flickering and they kept kind of doing this thing. And so a couple minutes later I go, you guys stop fingering.
Oh God.
And immediately I'm like I gasped because I couldn't believe like that has a different meaning than what I meant, obviously. Stop it. And so the audience laughed at that because they could tell I was so uncomfortable after I had said it.
Yeah, that's good. When the performer's uncomfortable, that always makes me laugh.
So I was just like, you guys, every time you do that, you messing up the screen and look, it's going off, whatever. And but anyway, there's no other way to really address that the screen was flickering like crazy because I couldn't keep talking about it. There's people on stage. I'm in the middle of the show. I'm like, I hope the audience can just ignore the fact that this is happening right now. But it wasn't like it would go off and on. It was like on, off, my desktop, on, blue, gray, my desktop, settings, screen,
a clear
off.
technical
like
difficulty.
It was just like,
the people couldn't figure this out backstage.
They were trying. I looked backstage at everyone I could see they're trying to fix it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. But to what an audience member or someone listening might just go like, oh no, the screen was flickering. That's probably distracting. What you don't know is that my mind as the performer is going, oh, my entire show is visual. If the screen does not work, I don't have my show. I need to come up with new content right now while I'm doing this bit on stage with this couple.
Yeah.
So while I'm doing this bit with this couple on stage, my mind is trying to write new jokes that don't require a screen. Okay, what if the sound doesn't work? I don't know if the sound works. Do I sing songs a cappella? Do I not sing anything? I have my ukulele. What songs do I know all the chords to that I could sing on my ukulele?
Yeah, it takes you out of the moment. Yeah.
Rewriting the last 45 minutes of the show, thinking, I don't know if the screen's going to turn back on or not. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I can't rely on it coming back. These people paid to see a show. So like, I need to give them a show. So I need to figure out what I can do. Thinking, can I sing songs a cappella? Should I give a voice lesson? What things can I do with audience participation? What other games can I play with them? What other content can I talk about? So I am literally, my mind is going a billion miles a minute on stage, rewriting my show while I'm doing a bit on stage. I'm literally performing, talking, and doing a bit with these people and rewriting an entire show in my mind. And also thinking, what's wrong? Is it something I can fix? Is it something I know? I think it might be the HDMI cable. I know it's not the port that it goes into in my computer. It must be, they need to get a new HDMI cable. If I can just get backstage and tell them, if they just run to, is there a Best Buy nearby? A Target might have one, but I don't know if they have one long enough. I'm assuming they're using a 100-foot HDMI cable that goes to but I have my other laptop. It's backstage. It doesn't have the new stuff in the show. Like this is all going on in my head. And I am obviously panicked. Like, so
and not present in the moment that you're on stage in front of 1,000 plus people.
I'm a disaster. And like, and it's not like it just happened once. It was just continually doing this.
Yeah.
And so then finally they get off stage. It's still flickering. It's been like, and I make that moment with them. I milked it, man. They were on stage with me for 15 minutes. Like, cause I was like, I need to give them time to fix this. And it didn't get fixed. And so then I'm like, okay, I need to try at least to see if sound can happen. I can at least sing songs.
Was sound not working at this point?
Well, I thought maybe it was because the screen kind of went back on and I was like, okay, I think the screen's good.
Oh, you mean the sound from like the tracks?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I go, okay, hit it for the next song. And it doesn't play. And I look at the screen and it's frozen on the video of the song, but the song's not playing and the video's not playing. I was like,
oh no.
Okay, I'll try again. And if it doesn't play, I've got to cut the show and do something else. Turn back around to the audience and I go, hit it. And then after a couple of seconds, it did start to play. Oof. Now I performed the song. I have no idea if the screen was working behind me.
Yeah.
But I sang the song and then I was thinking, so during that I was like, okay, I don't know if the screen's working. There's so many things in the second act once I turn into me where it's visual jokes on the screen, like with the diary stuff with Corey and all that. So I was like, I don't know what it was. I've never been so anxious. I was so uncomfortable and anxious on stage.
I'm sorry.
And then at the end of the woman medley, my mic turned off. So the sound of the track's working, but my mic stopped working. So the final big moment where I'm singing with the skirt that was, they'd already heard the song too because it played during the TikTok medley earlier.
Oh no.
So like, and then my mic is off. So it's like, I'm telling you, every freaking number had a nightmare disaster that went with it. Every single number.
Well,
and then I do the Defying Gravity. It's the first time I performed this new version of Defying Gravity. So I'm super nervous and it was very clunky and just like, it was just all a mess. And then so then during my quick change, I'm wearing 100 layers of Miranda clothes and underneath it all, I'm wearing my outfit. And so one of the things I wear as Miranda is like 3 pair of tidy whities, like men's huge tidy whities. So I do my quick change and I'm on stage and I transform into me from Miranda and I'm like, something feels wrong in this dress that I'm wearing. Something feels off. And I kind of feel, and I can feel that the lining of my dress is still stuck inside of my Spanx. Like tucked in where it was tucked into the tidy whities. And I go, am I still wearing the tidy whities? There's no way you would be able to see that. And I kind of am feeling and looking and kind of feeling, but kind of still trying to perform as me and feeling, I'm like, am I wearing tidy whities under this dress? Is the lining stuck in the underwear? Because if the lining is stuck, they can see through my dress right now. The lining is what makes this dress not see through. So can they see through my dress? Like, so then the whole time I'm on stage, I'm thinking about this and I'm trying to secretly try to pull it out, but it looks like I'm picking a wedgie the whole time. So I'm like, so finally I dress it and I'm like, guys, I feel like I'm still wearing the Miranda underwear. I need to check this. So like, I kind of like put my butt behind the curtain and I'm kind of just finagling with my hands. And I'm like, I think I fixed it, but it still feels weird. And the audience didn't laugh at me going like, I think I'm wearing Miranda underwear. They were like, what are you talking about? They forgot about that part of the show. And so it was just awkward. And then the end of the show comes finally. Something went wrong with every number. Every single number everything kept going wrong. Get to the final moment. I'm like, okay, we're final stretch here, final song. And I go, okay, hit it. It's the big opera number of the show. And it doesn't play.
No.
And I was like, let's try again, go. And then they're obviously trying to fix it. And so then the screen goes to my desktop screen. And I'm just like, all right, here's my desktop, guys. Let's look and see what I've got here.
Any of this.
I love it. I can't even begin to tell you how many technical difficulties were. It was so stressful because I've had lots of technical difficulties in the last decade doing the show, but like, it's usually like you have 1 or 2 throughout the show. It was every number, every song, every bit, everything. Every time I pointed to the screen. And this is what my face looked like when I was a kid. It didn't pop up or it popped up before I said the lines, like, and then I have one picture where my son, I'm about to say looks like me, but then it just pops up of Flynn and, it's like, it was so frustrating and so bad. So finally the final song plays, somehow got to it. I sing the song, I get off stage, I collapse into freaking fetal position. Like I was like, oh my God, I was so stressed.
I'm sure everybody still had an okay time.
Well, they said in the vlog, I kind of mentioned that it was a rough show and the comments were all very sweet of people who came. But I got off stage and saw I was still wearing all the underwear underneath that dress.
You were?
I was indeed. Yeah.
Which dress was it?
It was a new one you haven't seen yet.
Was it the purple one?
Mm-hmm. And
I saw it.
And anyway, so that happened. And then, but every night on this weekend, so then after the show ended, after that really long day, we drove 5 hours to Dallas when they were telling everyone to not drive under these conditions. There's all these car accidents, the freeways were closed.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about that.
And then and every show had something crazy. That was the worst of it. But the story you wanted me to tell, I'll finish on this because it's a funny story. And I know I'm boring you to death, and I feel like I'm boring everyone to death.
You're not boring me to death.
But the final thing that happened was that I'm going to talk about was the second night in Dallas. During my quick change, I take off my Crocs and I'm frantically putting on my boots. And Stu's helping me put on my boots while I'm taking off my makeup, my lipstick, and trying to reapply makeup and fix my hair, whatever. And I put my shoe on and I go, Stu, I kick off my shoe. I go, Stu, there's something in my shoe. There's something big in my shoe. I was like, I can't have my shoe on. There's something in my shoe. And he was like, what? And I was like, there's something in my shoe. Take it out. Take it out. And so I'm like, frantic. I'm like, what could it be?
It's a really quick change.
Really fast, quick change. And so he takes something out of my shoe, throws it on the ground. And then I'm putting my shoe back on. And I go, what was it? What was in my shoe? And he goes, a cockroach.
Yeah.
Flynn.
The little motorized
had put
ones.
a little motorized toy cockroach in my boot. And it was so funny.
That's the best.
Because it's such a stressful, intense moment, like trying to quick change. And to have like a little reminder of Flynn in that moment. And then when Stu took it out of my shoe and threw it on the ground, it landed on its back and its legs were all like quivering.
Yeah.
It was so funny. And I told that to Erik that was one of the stories I was able to tell Erik. And he's like, you have to say that on the podcast. It's so
my
funny.
favorite.
It's so funny because when Flynn came to the show in Thousand Oaks, the one thing he had to tell me after the show was over was that he did not like that I changed out of the Crocs into those pink shoes.
Yeah.
He was really mad about that.
He's trying to sabotage those sparkly boots.
I think he did. I think he was like, this cockroach is going in these gross
That was
shoes.
interesting. His one criticism was like, you should have left the Crocs.
He's like, you should not have worn these
when you became
heels.
yourself.
And so he put a cockroach in them.
Well, I see your show a lot when I can. I'm always sad to miss it, and I'm your biggest fan. When is the next mess going to happen that people can
in
go
the Carolinas? I don't
Carolinas.
remember. Yeah, I'm going to North Carolina, South Carolina. And I don't remember the exact dates. I think they're March 9th is the first one around there. So I'm doing some shows there. I don't remember exactly.
Well, if you live in the Carolinas, you go see my wife's show.
And
if she
coming.
messes up, you clap for her, even if she messes up. It's not her fault.
Tulsa audience was all the audiences were amazing. Tulsa audience was so forgiving and so sweet, considering how much of a mess I was in my own.
But what are you gonna say? Have you ever had a bad audience?
Yeah, I really have. I really have had a bad audience. Way back in the day, I've had people walk out. For sure. And I've been keeping a list of things that people have said or done to me while I'm on stage that I always want to say right after a show, but I don't want to call anyone out. So I'm making a list so that after enough time has passed, I can tell the stories and no one can figure out what show it was or who it was that did it.
Maybe next week.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, I had a blast performing on stage. I did have so much fun this weekend. It was literally just like the time of my life, but I've never been so stressed, man. That was a wild ride for me.
I know you love it. I know it's your water. But yeah, when all that when the stuff out of your control, just gadgets like mess stuff up. That's really frustrating. But there's
something about when all that stuff goes wrong and I survive through it.
Yeah,
it's like I did that.
Yeah,
wow, I got through that hot mess. Anyway, Teeny's coming with me to the Carolinas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she texted me while I was on this trip and was like, "I want to go to the Carolinas with you." I was like, "Yes!"
Fun.
So I'm excited about that. But thanks for letting me tell all those stories to Erik on the podcast because I've been wanting to tell him for
record it and put
days.
It out with ads. Otherwise, it would have just been you telling me behind the phone.
And there's even more, and I'll tell you that later.
Oh, there's even secret stuff?
I didn't even have time to tell. Not secret stuff. It's just like there's so much that went wrong that it was so insane, love. It was crazy.
Welcome home.
Thank you. I love you. I missed our kids.
I love you too.
I miss my hubs. And we're going to hang out the rest of the day. And thanks for listening, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Erik, you couldn't be further out of the camera. You are literally not even on screen.
Sorry that you get mad, but this chair has wheels and reclines.
I'm not mad. It's just every episode, Erik somehow drifts further and further away until he's not even on camera anymore. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And next week, Erik will talk the whole time and I won't say anything.
We'll see. I'll try.
Oh no.
Okay. Shut up.
Okay. I love you guys. Bye.
You can relax. Colleen and Erik have a podcast. The world is scary and we're locked in our home, but now we have big microphones. you can relax. That's the name of our podcast.